And now for the tale of the tape in this heavyweight showdown between the Warriors of Chaos, who shall be led by ARCHAON, the often chosen, and the Beastmen, who are going to be led by Malagor, the Chaos Peacock, or I guess the Lord of Decorative Wings. He goes by many names. So let's go ahead and take a look at the armies. So up here in the Vanguard area, I do have three groups of the Marauder Horsemasters, and as I've said in previous replays, these guys are very good against the Beastmen. They can kite Centaurs, do a ton of damage with their 37 missile damage, and are also very good against Minotaurs. Minotaurs, of course, very lightly armored, and oftentimes the Beastmen will bring the Minotaurs with great weapons to get that juicy bonus first large, and you're able to really just, kind of capitalize on the fact they don't have shields. So three groups of the Marauder Horsemasters. Top of that, a front line of the standard Chaos Marauders. So going a little bit cheap. Obviously, I've invested a lot in the Horsemasters. I have a Hell Cannon in the back. I have Trolls. I have Dragon Ogres. And of course, ARCHAON himself, even with this kit, a little bit stripped down, does cost close to 3,000 gold. So you do have to skimp a little bit somewhere. And unfortunately, our infantry are going to be the ones suffering. On top of that, two groups of the Chaos Trolls. And I guess I didn't really opt for the armor because typically a lot of the Beastmen players are going to bring Centaurs with throwing axes, and they're going to have a ton of armor piercing anyway, so why not just save the money and get the cheaper one? So they only have 40 armor, but these guys can lay a bit of a beating on a lot of the Beastmen infantry if they're able to get on top of Bestigors or Goreherds or Ungors or things like that. They're going to do pretty good, and yeah, just a little bit of extra armor piercing against Bestigors, because obviously I didn't have a ton of money to invest in AP infantry like Chaos Warriors. As such, I figured the Trolls would be a decent choice. And here we're going to be going with ARCHAON. ARCHAON, I know he's not the most competitive Lord. Kolek is an exponentially better choice in this matchup, but ARCHAON, in my opinion, is just so much fun. He's able to kill the casters really quick. He can deal with Gorbles. He has magic. He has the Slayer of Kings. He's just a really fun, powerful character. And, he's not really bad. He's just overlooked because Kolek is just such a better choice. So, yeah, we're going to be going with ARCHAON, seeing if he can do the heavy lifting, take out the Beastmen Lords, go after the Gorble, all that sort of fun stuff. So we have Dragon Ogres as well. A very, very solid choice. I think in just a hardcore competitive build against the Beastmen, you'd probably want to go with a couple groups of Dragon Ogres, probably like two, because they're just so damn good against Minotaurs, Centaurs. They give you extra AP against the infantry. Definitely a very, very juicy choice. In the back, we have a Hell Cannon and a group of Halberds who are going to be defending it. And Hell Cannon's going to be pretty good here. It's going to force the Beastmen in. You can see here we're getting some light skirmishing already. Now let's go take a look at the forces of Romulan Dog. So up here he does have a couple of groups of the Goreherds, but the real core of his army as far as infantry goes is going to be three groups of Bestigors. I think 1, 2, 3. It looks like it's going to be 3. A couple piggies as well. So these piggies are being put on the spit roast a little bit by these Marauder Horsemasters. Of course, they're fairly lightly armored at 45. On top of that, he does have some Minotaurs with great weapons in the back who are going to be pretty scary for the Dragon Ogres. It's a bit of a heavy, heavy hitting fight right there, but I don't know who would win head to head. Probably the Dragon Ogres, but the Minotaurs, of course, hit really hard. I mean, 110 with the bonus first large against 110 with the bonus first large, 36-32, and these guys have 32-40, so a little bit better melee defense, and of course more HP for the Dragon Ogres, so it'd probably be a close fight, with the advantage going to the Dragon Ogres. So we have a Gorble here, and it looks like we do have Malagor, the Chaos Peacock, and he's going to be summoning, it looks like he does have the summon ability. Yes, he has the Savage Dominion to summon Cygors, which is very good against Chaos. It's just, summoning a Cygor is pretty much good in every single matchup. They're just such a powerful unit to get in here, and it looks like, yeah, he could probably summon 2 total if he doesn't use his other spell here. On top of that, he's got a couple groups of Centaurs with great weapons, one group of the Ungor Raiders, which I like is a bit of an X-Factor pick. Gives him a little bit of extra punch against Trolls and Dragon Ogres, so really, really good stuff here from Romulan. And that's pretty much it. So guys, let's get the show on the road and see how this battle goes. So here in the center, we're getting a little bit of light skirmishing damage, but Romulan coming in hot and heavy here with the Hound. So these guys are just going to be going balls deep, charging in here, trying to get on the Horsemasters. And I tried to get a little bit of an alpha strike before I turned and ran, so it might allow him to catch me and maybe drag down a model or two, but we're getting some okay work in. Now the Hell Cannon hasn't done a ton of damage against the Bestigor, so a little bit lackluster in that respect. But the skirmishing is going well. We're able to kind of mincemeat these Hounds. They're getting cut down. They're shaking. They might actually break here, which is going to be good. And now we're going to be doing the classic rear charge. So what you do is you hide the Hounds over in the trees. And, if you have like Marauders fighting against like Goreherds, a relatively even matchup, one that probably favors the Goreherds, you come in with the Poison Hounds, and it's really going to break them very, very quickly. You guys will see this in just a moment. So right now, we're able to break off the Hounds, which is good. The Hell Cannon gets a nice clipping shot on the Goreherds, and we're going to be sending in the Trolls to fight and just pretty much all of our other resources here. So over in the forest, we do have a bit of a cockfight. Chaos Marauders fighting against Goreherds, so the Trolls are going to be jumping in to help, and Trolls are pretty mobile. They have 54 speed, so don't be afraid to kind of use them as a bit of a mobile threat tool. Over here, we get that nice rear charge, and you can see it's going to break these guys so quick. The Hounds coming in immediately tanks their HP. Their leadership's negative, so that's a really, really good kind of a quick gold grab right there. In the front line, Marauders are going to be getting manhandled by Bestigors, but the Trolls are going to be piling in, and Trolls do a pretty good job here throwing up on these guys, and they have good AP, and yeah, they're going to be able to heal pretty efficiently. So I also charged ARCHAON. I popped the Slayer of Kings to get that nice damage buff, just to try and get the splash and burn down these Bestigors as quickly as possible. Also popping the Flaming Sword of Ruin. But it's a very even fight. Over here, Marauder Horsemaster is doing a little bit of light skirmishing on the Centaurs, but we are being collapsed on by the Chaos Warhounds, which is a little bit scary. So I'm going to be trying to run through my own troops, but I do get caught up a little bit here. And you can see Romulan Dog has also summoned the glorious Cygor. So the Cygor is here. It's ready to party. And in the meantime, I also do intercept the Baconators with my Hounds. So I'm able to rampage those guys pretty quick, but I feel like the Bacon will probably win in the long run there. But so far, we collapse the Beastmen very heavily on this front line. So the best scores here get smashed. The other ones are doing very well against the Chaos Marauders, but ARCHAON and the Trolls should be able to polish them off. But this is where things get really scary. Over here on the flank, Romulan coming around with Warhounds, Centaurs with great weapons. I am cutting backwards, but he's able to drag down one group. And Marauder Horsemasters are not a cheap unit. It's a little bit of a scary situation. Dragon Ogres and Marauders did pretty well here, and I decided to take this engagement. I don't know if it was the best choice, but I actually didn't see the Ungor Raiders. So Romulan was able to sneak those guys up. Very, very good stuff. And I also didn't notice the Gorbel. So the Gorbel's going to come in and give him a really nice engagement here. I was like, oh, Dragon Ogres and Marauders should be able to win. But with Big Daddy Gorbel plus Ungor Overwatch Fire coming in, this is going to be a really scary situation. I've already lost 2 Dragon Ogres almost immediately on the charge from the great weapons, as well as the Gorbel. And over in the forest, we do have the Cockfight of Cockfights. The Gore Herds are actually getting beaten down by the Trolls, so good stuff coming out from the Trolls. I'm actually very happy with their performance so far here in this engagement. Now, some Hounds in the back line trying to get a little bit fancy, maybe pull me off my Hell Cannon over here, and some of the rallying Bestigors, unfortunately, are coming back in, and they're pretty quick. I think Bestigors are a little bit faster than most Great Weapon Infantry. You can see right here they actually have a 41 speed, which is very, very fast for like a Great Weapon unit. Some of the Great Weapon Centaurs and Throwing Axes are going to be coming up and around, and really, really good Cygor play coming in from Romulan Dog. He's able to drop those downtown on top of the Chaos Warriors with Halberds, really butter those guys up, and then eventually free up the Hell Cannon. Hell Cannon killing a ton of its own Horsemasters right there, just some massive friendly fire, and the frontline engagement went pretty well. For the most part, I would say that we were able to do well with our Trolls and Marauders, but right now, it's like I need to pull back, I need to secure my back line, I need to get this Hell Cannon up and shooting, make sure I can get that value, because this is pretty much a dead even fight. Romulan over here is able to secure a really good position because he kills the Dragon Ogres, he beats them down with the Gorbel, the Ungors, and some Poison Hounds, and the Minotaurs with great weapons, and then he's able to flow over, finish off the Marauders, and also beat down a group of Trolls at the same time. So a very, very good sweep on this part of the battlefield, whereas I was able to secure the middle and this part of the battlefield pretty, I would say in a pretty good way over here. But still, he's got the Chaos Warhounds, Centaurs with great weapons, a lot of backline pressure coming in, so I'm going to need to rotate and try and deal with those guys, and hopefully we'll be able to rampage the Piggy. Now, something else to note is he does still have the Cygor. So the Summon Cygor is still here, still causing some problems. But once he does go away, it's going to be a little bit better for us. Hell Cannon Shot coming in, clipping the Bestigor Herds, but -3-1 leadership looks like they are going to stabilize. But the back line is just a straight up dogfight. Chaos Trolls are still healing. They're still 12 models, which is pretty nice. And I think the other group of Chaos Trolls was able to stabilize over here. I have some Dragon Ogres, some Marauders who I do need to pull back. Maybe kind of chase them over in this direction. And the Hell Cannon is going to be going after the Ungor Raiders right now because I figured they were a pretty good and tasty target. But right now, both Romulan and I basically just stabilizing our situation. I'm trying to secure my Hell Cannon. He's getting those sweet Cygor bombs and just getting his troops together. And we're going to be going for a pit fight here. So ARCHAON, the Ever-Chosen, going to be going in. It's a little bit dangerous because of all the great weapons, but I figure with the Halberds and some of my chaff units I have here, I might be able to kind of work some witchcraft and potentially take those guys down. Marauders are coming back in, but I think he's probably going to be going to clean up my scraps. Dragon Ogre's coming out of the forest, so a little bit of sloppy play. I actually microed them like a minute before and didn't notice, so he's going to be able to get a free pick. But regardless, those guys were going to probably go down. He had huge dominance on this side of the battlefield. But the Hell Cannon's back online, and I think we're going to keep shooting at the Ungor. A fireball going downtown, going to be tearing into these guys, so let's see the damage it does. And that actually did good damage. It looks like it killed a Minotaur with great weapons, but alas, the Dragon Ogre's half fallen. I should have been a little bit more careful, maybe ran them up and around here and just waited for the very, very late game to bring them back, but I brought them back and I started microing something else and I just totally slipped up on that. So huge mistake there, but it was only 6 very beat up Dragon Ogres. So the Marauders are going to be fighting over here, trying to catch some of these Warhounds and Bestigors and just do some work, but the Trolls are going to be piling in a little bit late. But the Trolls, nonetheless, are going to be clubbing some of these goat people, and hopefully we'll put up a good fight. They do have some supporting fire from the Marauder Horsemasters, and they are actually able to fend off the Hounds, and, Trolls are pretty much a hard counter against Bestigors and great weapons in general. And down here, we get a really good pick. So ARCHAON and company are able to finish off the Razorgore Herds and some Hounds, and ARCHAON with the Slayer of Kings plus their Crown of Domination is giving leadership and immunity to Psyche here, which is going to be very, very powerful. But the push of the Beastmen is on, but right into Halberds as well. So I do have the Flaming Sword of Ruin popped here. Halberds should be able to chip down some of these bulls, and ARCHAON is going to be going after the Gorbel here, and hopefully he'll be able to clean those guys up for my sake. Now the battle and bounce of power a little bit in, I would say, in his favor. He has summoned a second Cygor. I believe he did that a little ways back. And at this point, since I don't have too many big bunches of troops, he's going to be pulling it to melee, which is going to make it very powerful. I've also pulled back my Hell Cannon crew just because I did see the Vestigor herds coming in, and the Trolls are piling back in, but that Cygor really kind of tipping the balance of power there, and the problem being is that he's going to be here for a while. The Cygor was summoned, not too long ago. He still has, 4,000 health, so he's going to be really, kind of leading me down towards army losses. So he does get a very good collapse here right on top of my Chaos Warriors with Halberds, with the Centaurs with Grey Opens, beautiful stuff. I pile in with the Trolls, and, ARCHAON, of course, doing his best to kind of splash these guys down, but it's going to be tough with Big Daddy Gorbel. Oh, being shot into another dimension yet again. Classic Gorbel, just a classic bro. So right here, the ARCHAON is going to be popping Slayer of Kings, giving him that really, really juicy damage buff. And the Centaurs are getting a little bit worn down. I've even sent in my Chaos Dwarves. So the Chaos Dwarves, the Chaos Dawi, going to be fighting here and getting mauled by Chaos Warhounds. Lovely stuff, making their ancestors proud, I'm sure. But the Cygor is getting ever closer, and as he does get closer, getting a little bit nervous about that. ARCHAON is here. He's fighting up against the Gorbel, but the bounce power definitely going in Romulan's favor at this point. Chaos Marauders in the forest. I have 2 groups coming back, which could potentially be very helpful, but ARCHAON needs to get away. And maybe if I can detach from this fight and just wait for the Cygor to kind of die, fight with my Marauders, I might have a little bit of a better chance here. So let me take a sip of water. All right, we're back. So ARCHAON was able to escape. He's going to be jumping into the back of those Ungo Raiders, who are taking a little bit of a beating from my Marauders, who have come back. And you can see the big old Cygor coming in for that bread right there. But I'm going to be uniting with the Marauders, using the Crown of Domination and a little bit of Fire Magic. I also drop a Fireball there real quick on the Cygor, just trying to get him to crumble because I know that it only has 2 charges left. And trying to get away from these Hounds because the Beastmen are coming in pretty hot, but it looks like a Somersault going in with a bit of a miss. I do pop the Flaming Sword to give my Chaos Marauders a little bit of a buff, and it puts them up to 33 weapon strength, which isn't bad. And they're actually doing a really good job fighting against these lightly armored targets, beating down the Hounds, beating down the Centaurs, and ARCHAON actually has a fight on his hands. So Minotaurs with Grey Opens a little bit offset over there. It looks like they may have just broken and then came back. But ARCHAON can definitely get a Gorbel in combat. He did get some buffs to his AP a while back, and he is juicy with these stats. Cascading Fire Cloak, putting his melee defense up to 87, and it's only a matter of time before Gorbel does go down. Granted, the bounce power is really, really looking pretty ugly right now, but these Marauders are able to actually beat down the Centaurs, and you can see as ARCHAON does put up a pretty good fight against the Gorbel, it is kind of triggering the bounce power a little bit back in my favor. You can see it creeping up over the top here, and the Marauders are going to be rushing in to intercept these Minotaurs, and I needed to break their charge, but you can see Romulan with a beautiful little blast right there is going to be dropped on top of the Marauders, doing some AoE damage. But even still, despite the fact that we maybe claw back a little bit in the bounce of power, those 7 Minotaurs with Grey Opens are going to be so damn good against ARCHAON. And of course, Malagor isn't terrible. 55 melee attack on a Caster Lord is a lot. 45 and 400 with a charge bonus of 54. As he comes in, that's going to be all she wrote. So very well played Romulan. That was an incredibly fun game. It was back and forth, had some really cool builds across the board, I would say. He got to use the Baconators and Minotaurs with Grey Weapons and just all kinds of crazy stuff. We used the Chaos Marauders to great effect, I think. Like, they worked well with the Trolls. The Trolls were mobile. They were able to beat down the Vestigors pretty efficiently. And yeah, we're really solid. The Marauder Horse Masters were I think they did a great job. They were able to pick apart quite a bit of stuff. But at the end of the day, I think that was one of the big things that lost me the game was there was a couple things. So number one, when the Marauder Horsemasters, I let them get caught a little bit too danger close to the Beastmen a couple times. And yes, they did endure, but they took a lot of unnecessary damage because of my lapse in micro, I would say. And Romulan's very, very good micro in that respect. And on top of that, I think when the Dragon Ogre, when he collapsed my Dragon Ogres in that center pocket and was able to rotate over and get them and the Trolls, I would say I was in a pretty commanding position until then. He was able to collapse and really take over that part of the battlefield, and then he pushed in, and I just lost, 1,500 gold here, another 800 from the Trolls, and that was a lot of my staying power. I really needed those guys, and I should have been able to maybe pull them back to ARCHAON, get them on top of him for the Crown of Domination buff, and just play that more defensive game, but Romulan did a great job isolating those guys and just really seeing where the value was in the battlefield and just sweeping it. So beautiful stuff. And yeah, as far as his army goes, it was great. Classic stuff. Cygors are always very good against Chaos Infantry. Gorbel, despite the fact that he does get ping-ponged, can do some pretty good damage. And Vestigors, yeah, they have good AP. Definitely do the trick there. So very well played. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this Chaos vs. Beastmen, family feud here. And we will see you guys next time. Take care.